Speaking of pressure, right before the last podcast, I got a phone call from Paul Preventa, fucking hollering at me because I didn't have a budget. He's directing my filming out in Bisbee, and he's like, "Fuck, dude, there's no budget," and he's yelling at me, and I don't respond. I don't like that but it's like, and he
Wait, you
goes,
don't like people yelling at you or people
"No,
asking you to do work?
I did, yeah. Well, he put a lot of pressure on me, and I'm at the end of a long drive right before I got to Goldthwait, and Provenza's yelling at me, panicking, and he's like, "Typical shit show, Andrus, typical shit show." And I didn't want to say anything, but come on, man. You've been fucking watching me in your fucking back room on a movie, on a film. You've watched, he knows me better than anybody, and he's surprised that it turned into a shit show that I didn't have answers for. I don't know. Okay, camera guys need money and motel money, and they got to get there, and the cameras cost something, and all this shit. It's like, fucking, let me know this shit, or I don't know. Oh, yeah, so there's a lot of pressure on Paul Preventa, and I took it off, but we got to take it. Well, we're taking care of it. I'm trying to raise funds somehow, like one of them fund me things. Yeah, since I woke up by the dumpster the other night, I've really done some self-evaluation.
Yeah. Well, I woke up on a plane. So
yeah. Did you know how you got there?
not really, but I
Yeah.
am glad it landed where I was hoping it would.
Yeah.
I didn't fall. I didn't wake up anywhere weird, but I did fall asleep on the I-10 2 or 3 times trying to drive home.
Yeah, it's too bad that was the plus side of that sniper on that stretch of highway. It kept you alert. It's a dead road, Somebody's going to shoot at you. I'll stay awake for that, but I can't do this 100-mile stretch without blinking.
Yeah,
So
that was quite the week in Austin. Thanks to JT Habersat for putting up with us and letting us do what we did, because that was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm still physically in pain,
Yeah. Since you're still in Austin, Andy, maybe you could keep an eye out. I think maybe I must have left all of my serotonin there because I don't seem to have any since coming back home.
Yeah. We got out right. Well, you guys got out under the wire. I'm just waiting for the helicopter to come back and get me out of here. Chopper me out.
And we also have to thank the wonderful Lulu Monkey who put up with us all week too, even more so than JT, because she opened her home to us, and still is quite clearly. So she's the best, man. She fucking. We couldn't. I wouldn't and couldn't do that festival without her. So she's just as important as JT. Thanks, Lulu.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Lou. And
her too.
With my I forgot I can't drink. Not that because of the alcoholism, but because of the diverticulosis and the alcoholism. So I've been like fucking shitting blood. I feel bad, I don't want to be a guest in somebody's house anyway, but when I'm blasting blood out my ass, I don't think there's really a place you want to, nobody wants you.
You don't want to do that in your own toilet. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting down by Houston. If I'm still shitting blood, I'm going to go find me a shark. And I'm going to do an impromptu shark feeding. Get my ass eaten by a shark. That's probably how I could die, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. Hey, there's Greg Shaley. He's back.
Oh man, look at that setup he's got going on, dude.
My office, guys.
It's the Shark Cast.
Greg Shaley live from the shitter.
We did hit the Ichiban Super Buffet today.
Oh.
Four plates, under $30. So a lot of seafood. So
I'm surprised you're facing it from that direction.
I'm too. It's unfortunate because I'm just far enough away from the toilet. I can't sit on the toilet and do this. I'm gonna see if I can get a chair in here. I'll be right back.
All right. Hopefully.
Stanhope hasn't even been in there yet. You can tell Stanhope hasn't been there by how clean the back of the toilet looks.
It's the original upper decker.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
I like what I'm seeing.
It's
I'm
nice.
I'm
It's good.
anticipating a lot of knocks on the door, though, based on what you guys said you had for lunch. So we'll see how many times Shaylee has to drape a towel over his camera.
Hey, Chad, I think we talked about it in the past of like how, hey, remember everything you've done in a hotel room? Just imagine someone else has done it, but with shit. Yeah, there's the office chair. Oh, how nice! Look at that fancy chair. It's been in the bathroom.
So,
Yeah, you got to peel the bed cover off first thing, because that's just, that's where everybody gets creative on the bedspread.
yeah, well, I do believe, I think that's what I said before. Whenever I found myself wiping my dick off on the curtains once is when it appealed to me. And I was like, this is fucking horrible, man. Don't do that.
Yeah, you know why I don't even know why they bother to call it a hand towel. Like, yeah, that's what I grab it with, but that's not, it's like in between. It doesn't, it's good for one thing, cleaning shoes and dicks. Shoes and dicks. That's the two things.
Hey, real quick, Erickson, is the microphone all right? Because it's using the built-in.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you're in a bathroom.
Let me switch it over. Sorry. Well, I am in a bathroom.
Well, welcome back to Issues with Shaylee.
Yeah. Let's just talk toilet issues today. We'll do a special, very special episode.
I would love to do that, although I think that just opens up a whole thing that should be its own actual full-bore podcast. Right. Because I have issues.
Toilet issues, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then how do you know what a good paper is? Can you trust two-ply?
Well, as people who know me know, you have to have a bidet. That's step one. You have to get a bidet. I learned it from Shaylee, and he's been right this whole time. That was when I go on the road. That's the thing I miss the most. It's not Mama's home cooking.
It really is. You can take a hand towel and wet it, and then while you're sitting on the toilet, you can just kind of squeeze it, and it does the same. It's a makeshift bidet.
Enjoy that next time you wash your face at a hotel. Remember that, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
it's gotten to the point where after hearing that, now I actually will wash my face on the curtains because I'd prefer Chad's fucking spunk to Andy's fucking ass blood.
And you also gotta figure since all this negativity towards our brothers from the South and sisters, they're probably not putting as much effort into cleaning up our cum stains off of the towels for the other guests that are American white-skinned assholes that are. Yeah, so I'm thinking that we're probably in the filthiest motel rooms we've ever been in.
Erickson, I think you're onto something there, Erickson. If you go for the curtain, just the sheer volume of yardage, you have a better shot reaching up high.
Yeah.
To get something that may be dusty, but certainly not gunky.
Yeah. Your face will be dirtier than what it was when you washed it.
Just go wash your face.
It won't be cummier.
Yeah. Or bloodier.
Yeah.
I have to find a lighter. I'll be right back.
So so Austin was an amazing success. We somehow pulled it off without James Inman involved in any way. And now I saw on Facebook that he's started up the why am I not on this podcast fucking train, and because that's why.
He's not on every other podcast either.
They all seem to be doing okay.
Hey, why ain't I on Sword and Scale? I wish he was featured on Sword and Scale. I would like to hear that episode. Yeah.
I'd like to
be
see him on.
I'd
like to see him on My Favorite Murders.
Or I Totally Got Away with It.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of them, James.
We love you, James. We love you.
Yeah,
from afar. We just love you from afar.
I got to take a call to advance the show for tonight. I'll be right back. Okay. Just
All right.
don't get into Austin until I come back because I want to talk about it.
Okay.
right.
I love James Inman in the way I love myself or flowers or whatever. It's like, yeah, I just don't really feel it, but I like to think I could love you, James. I just, I have some work to do on myself. If you can't love yourself, then you can't love anybody else. And I'm working on myself, James. And maybe someday I will have that, and I will have a little space in my heart for you. But until then, it'd just be bullshit to say I loved you. I tolerate you, and I enjoy your company.
I love you, James.
Yeah, you love yourself, though, maybe.
I love you, James. I just don't enjoy your company.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, could you move like a foot to your right because that sunlit back window is just blasting everything behind you.
All right, I'll change. There
you go. Oh, that's 1,000. Even a tiny bit more.
Oh, I like it. I look really dead there.
There you go.
That's a little washed out.
That's somewhat better. There you go. Oh, look at that. Now we're getting somewhere, buddy. So, yeah, we'll wait till Shaylee gets back to get into the details. But when I got back, I was like, all right, I'm going to have to take a little bit of a break. So it's sober October, but it is issues with Andy. So I am having a glass of red wine.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing sober October with kombucha.
It sounds like you need it. You should be you go into your weed only stretch.
Yeah.
I feel.
Have you considered that it's the kombucha making your ass bleed profusely?
Well, I've done some troubleshooting.
Is that what you call it when you sit on the toilet?
Troubleshoot.
Yeah, it's like it's like I take a dump and then I'm like, I want to see the dump. Instead, it's like, come on, shit, and it's all blood. But it felt like it's shit, so I don't know if that's healthy. But I'm losing weight, so
my pants. Have hemorrhoids too, man.
Yeah, I know what's going on with my car. It's a plugged air conditioner, so it's probably similar. Why I'm leaking the wrong fluid on the wrong spot. But hey, and this is a little life tip, and there's a lady behind you, maybe. I bleed out my bottom, and I know they have that problem. So you stuff some toilet paper up there, and that stops it from bleeding. And then you change it out a little bit, and
there you go.
You can go about your normal life, but white pants are probably out of the question for a while.
Yeah. And you can also use it as an excuse as to why you're grumpy.
There's a battle going on inside my body. That's actually true, the white blood cell battle, and I really, when I'm tired, I'm grumpy.
Yeah. So
people are going, man, I thought this is a racy fucking podcast they're talking about.
Just old guys. Well, it's like a nursing home talk.
And that makes Inman look even more pathetic because he wants in.
Man, I shit blood too. I can shit blood.
Yeah.
I can usually tell if it's more blood or shit by the smell without having to turn around.
Man.
Yeah. I just don't have a good sense of what blood smells like yet. Mixed with water.
Sorry about that.
Right. That's all right. We understand you have one job.
Hey, we're in Greensboro, North Carolina tonight, and I don't think we've been to this venue. It's a Comedy Zone, but Carlos Valencia is coming out.
Oh yeah!
Oh yay, Carlos!
Good old Carlos.
I love Carlos.
I love Carlos.
Funny. His comedy set is very good, but I feel sorry for anyone who has to share a hotel room with him. Why? Currently, across the street, there is a team of men cutting down trees with chainsaws, and that would be a quieter place to sleep than in a room with Carlos Valencia.
Yeah, how about Mamu and Carlos Valencia in one room?
Oh, my God.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's some fucking racket there.
Maybe the snores would cancel each other out, and it would be the quietest room.
It's probably like that.
Oh yeah, you need that opposite. You need that the sine wave, like the the noise canceling headphones. You just need someone who snores in the opposite direction of Carlos.
All right, so Austin, Altercation Fest in the books, fun. We had a lot of we had good shows, good podcasts. Got drunk every night.
Andy was out there first, and Chad, you flew out, and
I drove out.
Oh, you drove out.
Yeah.
Andy and I both got there on Wednesday, and then Chad and Mamu and Jenny arrived on Thursday evening. It was blurry the whole way. It was great because Carrie Mitchell's like, "Oh yeah, Austin. I've never been to Austin. Austin sounds cool." And I'm like, "Well, come along." And then she comes, and then she sees Lulu's apartment and But Coffee in a strip mall on the edge of town. Those are the two things she saw in Austin in 5 days.
And whatever was blurred by on the Uber ride in between. That's the same thing we saw.
Jesus.
Did she get out to the shows?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's where the shows were. Kick Butt Coffee, which is also a bar and a music venue.
All right.
But we never went anywhere else.
Yeah, well, Lulu's is pretty good. She has that apartment complex, and there's a bunch of comics that live there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, as long as you got beer, you don't really need to go anywhere else, right?
Yeah, we managed to see Jay Whitecotton quite a bit, and that was interesting because we went to Altercation Fest and spent a lot of time with the one comic who's banned from Altercation Fest. So.
How did that happen?
I'm sure he told us at some point, but it was years ago.
It's a long story, but I can't even remember.
It's one of those where your parents have gotten divorced and you want to love them both. It's a thing between JT and Jay, and I love both of those guys. So I'm on both of their sides. I don't know what it was.
Erickson, you did that one show. You did that one show where Jay Whitecotton, you, Mishka, and JT at Mr. Heads in Tucson.
Yeah.
So it must have happened after that, or as a result of that.
I think it might have been after. I think it might have been after that run when Jay Whitecotton was opening for Mishka and JT. Something might have happened with that.
Huh.
Oh, that's funny.
But it was great. Jay's fantastic, and we got to see the ever entertaining Joe Stats come rolling through. This motherfucker who used to live in that apartment building doesn't anymore, but he
was the manager, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe. But he came rolling through. He was so fucking drunk. He made all of us look sober. He came over to the apartment. We're partying. He passes out on Lulu's couch, which one of us needed for sure. Well, that was a bed for at least somebody. And so he passes right out on the couch, and then later wakes up in a drunken haze, eats all of the food in the refrigerator except part of one breakfast burrito, and then finds Carrie Mitchell's bag of airport snacks and just plows through those. And Mitchell's like, that's even the most heinous because that shit was purchased at the airport. That's a $5 bag of M&M's, goddamn. And he just pounded through a bag of popcorn, a thing of M&M's, something else, and then he was gone. All he left were fucking wrappers. God.
It's like the Grinch. He just took everything.
What a dick. What a dick. They should call him Austin Andy. Who does that? Who does that shit?
Yeah. And Mitchell just reminded me, we got up the next day. Not only was he gone and there were empty wrappers everywhere, but he had found some bean dip and he managed to get it everywhere. There was bean dip chunks falling on the floor and in the kitchen, and wiped on a towel. It really looked like one of your hotel stories. It looked like he'd shit everywhere, and we're like, what in the fuck? And luckily we figured out that it was the bean dip.
Somebody tasted it and figured out it was bean dip.
It's funny because I was talking about Joe Stats about how healthy he seemed, and he's been eating better, running every day.
Sure, popcorn, muddy bears.
I guess it was a cheat day.
He got his money's worth.
It's
Yeah, he did.
I take a break. It's all I can eat at someone else's apartment.
That makes the most sense because you never know what's going to happen, and you don't want to cheat on a day when you can actually have control. The last time I talked to you, Erickson, was we were in Rochester, New York, at Comedy at the Carlson, and you were getting ready to get on a plane, and you had expressed concern about setting up and doing a live stream, and I was like, forget it. No, don't, just record. So I'm curious what happened, because you obviously did the live stream because I tuned in.
Yeah. I just decided to see what would happen if we tried it. It's the most stressed out I've been at a comedy venue in years, because I'm setting the thing up and we're already kind of up against the clock because we were the last thing on Saturday afternoon, and after us, they had to, like, I don't know, for some reason, like, clean the place out, shut it down, wipe it down, and then reopen doors at like 6:30. But the show that was at noon started late, ran late. The podcast before us started late, also ran late. So we started like an hour later than we were supposed to. So I was trying to set up as quickly as I could also. And I was like, oh, fuck, this might not work. I don't know if I can do this. And there was a couple moments where I was like, maybe I'll just pretend we're podcasting and we'll just do this live. But and at one point, Mitchell came up too, and she's like, all right, like, I was like cussing and trying to plug things in and figure out. I couldn't figure out how to get some audio connection into the broadcast software. Not that anybody gives a shit, but at one point she's like, I'm like, God damn it, I need Shaylee here. And she goes, you want me to call him on the phone? And I go, no, like, he can't help me from where he is. I have to figure this out. Either I can figure it out or I can't. But having him on the phone isn't going to help. So,
well, you were in uncharted territory for me because I've never done a live stream. I've recorded onto my laptop when we were fucking around with the Mevo camera, and I know audio recording, but yeah, I was very curious. That's why I said, you got a live audience, you've got a recording to make on audio. Don't get greedy and fly too close to the sun, young Icarus.
We did all right though. We had a couple hundred people watching live, and we've had a few more hundred, 400 or 500 more watch since.
And there were a thousand outside of the club waiting to get in.
Okay, Trump.
Best rated live podcast ever.
Austin should give us an award or some keys to the city,
or at least let us go through Willie Nelson's stash.
No, I thought you guys got the camera angle right enough, and the only problem it looked like was the same thing I noticed was the bandwidth issues, which sometimes the clubs we're at here, we can't even get the square to stay online and that's just passing data. So you never really know what you're going to find.
Erickson was a stud for sure, man. He fucking,
he hooked it up. I was ready to back him on any technical difficulties.
Andy and I missed all of his stress because we were outside smoking weed.
With the thousands.
Andy realized.
What's wrong with Erickson's all corporate now, man.
Andy pointed out that we usually smoke weed throughout this podcast, and now we were going to be up on a stage not able to smoke weed. And so we're out there huffing down chain smoking joints in the parking lot.
I think that's
so. You guys were just as stressed as me once you realized what was at stake.
Fuck yeah, we did the Texas two-step out and smoked weed. You had to do some things that involved the brain. That would be that's a different category of fucking pressure. Speaking of pressure, right before the last podcast, I got a phone call from Paul Preventa, fucking hollering at me because I didn't have a budget. He's directing my filming out in Bisbee, and he's like, fuck, dude, there's no budget. And he's yelling at me, and I don't respond. I don't like that but it's like, and
wait, you don't like people yelling at you or people asking you to do work?
I did, yeah. Well, he put a lot of pressure on me, and I'm at the end of a long drive right before I got to Goldthwait, and Provenza's yelling at me, panicking, and he's like, typical shit show, Andrus, typical shit show. And I didn't want to say anything, but come on, man. You've been fucking watching me in your fucking back room on a movie, on a film. He knows me better than anybody, and he's surprised that it turned into a shit show that I didn't have answers for. I don't know how to fucking, okay, camera guys need money and motel money, and they got to get there, and the cameras cost something and all this shit. It's like, oh, fucking, let me know this shit, or I don't know. Yeah, so there's a lot of pressure on Paul Provenza, and I took it off of him. We got it taken. Well, we're taking care of it. I'm going to try to. I'm trying to raise funds somehow, like one of them fund me thingies up there on the internet, and we don't need much. We just need like 3,200 was the budget for these fucking assholes that need sandwiches. They need snacks, and it all adds up to 3,200. And Doug's not paying for it, but he's opening up his place for. Well, it's a secret location. We're not filming it at Doug's. We're filming it across the border in Mexico, because it's really the best way to get skilled labor.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, no, it's more expensive, but you're getting professionals, not these white.
Oh no, I was talking about the snacks. The snacks are cheaper in Mexico.
This and better, I mean, I'm having an all bean and rice set. Drugs okay, but bean and rice.
All of a sudden, Andy's gonna go vegan, so he doesn't have to buy meat for the craft services table.
Yeah. We're gonna go gluten free on them sandwiches and vegan. So you just get a fucking pimento. That's it, on a cracker, but it's a gluten free cracker. Everybody's gonna be happy, but I need the money thing. And then
so what you're saying is there's going to be a GoFundMe to help fund your new special, which we will have a link to in the description. So if you'd like to help Andy make his comedy dreams come true, click on the link and throw him $10.
I've seen people do it. That hey, I'm dying of cancer and I want to do a special. I don't know if I'm, maybe, and I have something that, anyway, I'm getting thin and I'm not complaining, but.
Self-diagnosis, man.
Yeah.
You're not asking to go on Ellen. You're just saying you're probably dying and this is probably your last chance.
I'm no mechanic, but I'm down a quart of blood out my ass. So, without a transfusion, so. Yeah, that's my appeal to the public. And Paul, I told Paul, fucking relax, man. Get into the fucking car with me. Let me drive. Like, you be Louise, I'll be Thelma, and this thing's gonna work out all right in the end.
You know how that ends, right?
Yeah, well, that's why it's in Bisbee.
Yeah,
you guys got that big giant pit that would be, So Paul doesn't know this, but I'm having Andrew erect a ramp that will launch us into that. I don't want no movie about my life being made, and if Paul's alive, that movie has a chance of being made. Not a huge one, but a chance.
If we get some camera angles on the fucking ramp into the pit, I bet you somebody else will pick up the ball and make the movie.
Well, here's why
solid ending now.
Here's why I would like, a little on top of that 3,200. I envision machine guns and some explosions in there. The pyrotechnics guy's coming over from Mexico. It's a white guy. He worked for a Great White. He's been in Mexico hiding since the problem at the station up there, but he's ready to go. He says, how high is your ceiling? And we're like, man, Don't ask that shit. Come on. You don't care.
That's what he asks now all the time.
Oh yeah.
So Andy, your budget was 3,200 before you added pyro and a gun wrangler.
The gun wrangler is volunteering his time.
Chad.
I think I just got volunteered, but I definitely volunteered.
Yeah, I have a opening sequence that we haven't really budgeted for, but I don't work well under pressure, and I couldn't really tell Paul, quit yelling at me. I don't know how we're paying for the cameras, but I do have some fireworks squirreled away, so the big opening sequence is, locked in.
The opening is saved.
Yeah, I think people just need to trust me and let me take care of it.
I've been saying that for years. I think people just need to trust Andy. Why don't they just trust him?
I
Well,
don't
Go with it.
I don't get it either, Andy.
In the past, I've been a bit of a dope fiend. I've had some alcohol struggles. I still struggle with alcohol. I just, I lose stuff when I black out, and I get frustrated when I lose stuff. So, I don't know what to do about it. Maybe have that stuff chained to me when I get drunk, so that when I fall back, there's got to be a solution.
Like idiot mittens when you were a kid, you put your winter gloves on a string up through your sleeves.
Maybe I should put I put my initials on the top of a page, AA, and then I'm just going to write out 10 ideas to keep me on this when I'm fucked up, how to not lose shit. And, to drink water, the 10 commandments of AA, I'll call it.
The 10 steps.
Yeah, and I'll get people to join that. So if you pitch in, you can be I'll send you a chip after 90 days to say thanks for your support.
Maybe you can go.
You see some good marketing there, Andy, because you are getting it done in 2 fewer steps.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely correct. The new and improved.
You would assume if you're even doing my 10 commandments, you've already done a little work on yourself. So I'm getting rid of those 2. Self-reflection, that's just fucking bullshit. I'm not listing that. Self-reflection.
You could probably get a meeting space like downstairs of a church in a basement and just put a sign out front that says AA meeting.
Don't know what it means. Oh man, and then I could get some bad coffee, and then just give a spiel that sort of sounds like it's a remorseful drunk, and then hear other stories about it, and then say, "That's not what this is all about here, man."
I don't know how. I've never heard you tell a story where you didn't sound actually drunk. I don't know how you're gonna sound like a remorseful drunk.
Right. I know. I had that problem in my alcohol classes that I was forced. The state asked me to take them, and I was like, yeah, why not? Why not? Just for 90 days, and and then we'll reevaluate. You say, yeah, let's do that. So I did go. I got sober.
Well, you had mentioned to me the reason that you got sober for those 90 days. Do you remember what you said?
Well, that's what the
unlike the rest of the people in your class, what separated you from the rest of the people in your class?
Oh, yeah, okay, there we go. There's the bumper. That's because this
that
one
was
class.
A little more than the bumper, but
yeah. Hey, there's a lead in. I forgot what we were talking about. Anyway, so I go to this one class. And it was just there was like 5 tweakers, a couple of like Jim from Taxi types, and then a couple of just fucking, straight up fucking scumbags, and then me. And and
Who has a foot in each camp, by the way.
Yeah, an amalgamation.
I was like, if they all broke apart and their Legos were on the floor and they reassembled one person out of them, I was a little bit of each of them. I was that fat tweaker woman who couldn't keep sober or custody. I was that guy who couldn't make sense of what he was saying and then just started crying. I was a little bit of all of them. I was that hard guy who was like, all his buddies have the meth problem and he doesn't, but he's been in jail for the last 9 years and he needed this class to succeed. Like all of them, there's a little bit of all of us in failure. Anyway, I would sit in that class and then they would
like. Or the other way around.
Well, yeah. Either way. But so I told them, I gave them my spiel because these ladies struggled with it. There was like 4 fat tweaker women, and everybody's always like, well, how do they get so? I don't know. I really don't know. It's the snacks, or maybe they started fat. I don't know. But they would always fail at their sobriety, and it was like I gave my spiel when I was getting close to the finish line. It's like, look, everyone, I love my drugs. Just like you, I love my drugs, but I'm going to treat it like a long distance relationship that I want to keep going. I'm not going to cheat on them. And I'm going to wait until those 90 days are up and I'm going to do all the drugs. I'm already stockpiling, I don't know if it inspired any of them, but none of them were back then. They struggled with that. When you fail a piss test, there's no reason coming back for a bit. So that's what happened to them. But I would sit on one end and I didn't speak much. That was one of the few, because I would sit and they would cry and carry on. And then I would get up, I would sit by the Kleenex or I'd move them over by me. In fact, I hid the Kleenex, okay? I hid the Kleenex so that I could be the fucking hero of the class when one of the ladies would start sobbing about never getting to see her kid again, and I understood that that was going to be the case too. So I would get up, and I would have the Kleenex, and I would walk over to her and put my hand on her big shoulder and say, "You got this. You can do this. You just got to do the steps." And then I would sit back down, and everybody would be like, "Man, I can't wait to hear this guy." And then I would stall out the other lady, and then I would just bring it. It would be like a couple minutes for me, and I would just say, I've been doing a lot of walking and staying happy, and I don't know. I would steal some of Brody Stevens's, hey, everything's fine, keep moving,
enjoy it,
enjoy it. Yeah. So,
did he answer your question, Erickson? I don't think we got it.
In a very long word salad, he did. Andy loves his drugs so much, even more than these drug-addled tweakers and fat single moms. He loves his drugs so much that he is willing to give them up completely for 90 days to make sure 100% that he doesn't piss dirty, so he has to give them up even for an even longer time. Yeah. And that's the sort of commitment that we look for in an Andy Andrist.
And part of my sobriety and how I hung on to it is I knew at the end of it, if everything went right, I was going to Belize anyway. But if everything went right,
you were going to get to have fun.
Yeah, I could be free and clear. And as it turned out, I didn't get that I had to come back and piss one more time to be done with the program. So I was in Belize, and I was riding a golf cart. There's golf carts in this one. It's all you could drive is golf carts. And I see people in back alleys appearing out of nowhere to go give me the nose sign, like, "Hey, everybody's got coke." I got picked up by a hooker early in the morning, and she was offering me a back rub and cocaine. And she said she was
sales pitch.
Well, she led off with, I go, "How's your day going?" She goes, "Oh, I'm very tired. I worked she worked a lot the night before." And then she was giving me a ride. And then she was like, wanted to sell me some coke and good times. And I'm like, man, normally I'd be all down with this, but I got court-ordered sobriety and a scuba tour with my family in a few minutes.
Well, chances are it was just going to be drywall anyway, Andy, and they don't test for that in the piss.
I can tell you that that's a fact. A couple years ago, more than a couple years ago, probably 10 years ago or so, when I was living in Peoria, I was on a period of not smoking any weed, and I had a buddy that got random drug tested his job, and he calls me up one day, and he's like, "Erickson, are you still not smoking weed?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. What do you need?" He's like, "I just got hit with a random drug test. I got to piss in like an hour." He goes, "Can you meet me at lunch?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I go meet this guy, and I pee for him. He's like, "Cool." We laugh about how clever we are. I go back home. Carrie Mitchell comes home. I explained the whole story to her about how we fucking gamed the system and fucking stuck it to these motherfuckers. And I peed for him. I haven't fucking smoked weed in 6 months. And she goes, "Yeah, but didn't you do a whole bunch of blow last night?" And I was like, "Oh, no." So I had to call my friend who wasn't doing any cocaine at all and explain, like, "Yeah, dude, you're not going to piss dirty for weed, but I probably made your job situation way, way worse." And he's like, "Dude, it is what it is." And then 3 days later, he calls me up and he's like, "Dude, it came back clean." And I was like, "Oh, that's fucking great." And then a second later, I'm like, "I'm fucking pissed off." Ripping me off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
fucking assholes. I'm paying fucking. What my point is, the cocaine in Peoria is very much stepped on.
Very drywall.
Well, I guess this is a recommendation for the coke I found in Portland when I got one of my Deweys, and the officer told me not to tamper with it. I tampered with it, my pee. He's like, "Don't tamper with it." And I didn't even think about it until he said that. And I stood in there like, what can I tamper with this with? And I thought, oh, I have the diverticulosis going. So I put a finger up my ass, got some blood, and pissed on my finger. Right? Yeah, I know. So, right. That's why you got it on. But here's what happened.
What were you trying to convince them?
Everything. I have everything. I don't have anything.
If they're there to protect and serve, you think there would be a little, hey, there's some blood in your urine, mate. Let's get you to the hospital. But there was not.
I mean, depends on how detailed their tests are. They're like, I don't know who you've been fucking in the ass, but they got diverticulosis. It's all up in your dick.
I wish I had cancer. It rolls off the tongue. I have kidney failure. You can say that, but diverticulosis, yeah, come on, give me a diver down disease. That'd be cool. But anyway, so here's what happened is I'd done some coke about 4 days earlier on that, and I wasn't even considering that. It was all out of my system. And I think because I put blood in the urine that they detected cocaine in my system because it shouldn't have been there. So I think it was pretty good coke. Because 4 days later, a little blood sample in my piss, and boom, I got that on my charges. So I had to plead guilty. You plead guilty, like my lawyer said. You go in there, some juries hear the word cocaine and they're going to convict you. Like, let me explain it to them. Put me on the stand so I can say I was doing a pilot episode of a TV show where I played a guy sucking dick through a glory hole, and I was merely getting into character. I'm the Daniel Day-Lewis of glory hole acting.
I don't think there is a lawyer in the world that would put Andy on the stand. Not to defend yourself. No way.
No.
I will say for sure that you are the Daniel Day-Lewis of glory hole acting because there will be blood.
I was thinking you were going with my left foot, but
I don't know. I rattled through a few more of them before.
Yeah. That's very good. So kids, don't when a cop asks you not to tamper with your urine sample, just give him that.
Not everything the cop says to you is a lie, just most of it.
Yeah.
I went home to Tampa after one of the desert parties out in Panamint one year, and I had an interview for a job at a amusement park to work for their was going to work in setting up and all this stuff for the haunt at one of the big amusement parks out there. And it was a friend of ours from the my brother's business that was running this business. So, like, she had a management position over there, and she goes, "Come on in, we'll put you to work. We'll give you a part-time. You can manage the warehouse, all the props and everything." I go, "Oh, fuck, cool." And then she walks me around. We're looking at everything, talking everything. She goes, "Now, yeah, you filled out the application, everything. Now, if you head over there, down to that other building, they'll drug test you here." I'm like, "What? Drug test?" I had only been home from Panamint, which was a 6-day party, for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And that was always a couple days before that. We were hanging out in Vegas, and then after, this was like 10 days of fucking partying. And I'm like, "Oh fuck, there's no way." Oh well, you know what? It goes quick out of your urine. So I go in there and I go, "Where's the cup?" She goes, "Oh no, we take a hair sample."
Oh my god.
I couldn't rub shit in my hair.
Yeah.
You could get
Stick
blood
your
in
finger
there.
in your ass.
Yeah, get a little blood in there.
Did you go for it, or did you just quit right then?
Well, the thing is, I couldn't just leave because that person was a customer of my brother's at Ghost Ride. I know her on a personal level, right? And I'm going, "Oh fuck, man!" And that's when I realized either someone pulled some strings for me, or those fucking tests are bullshit.
Yeah.
Because there's no way. Look, there's no way there wasn't something. Because that your hair is always growing. Yeah. And I looked it up later.
It looks like you've taken a lot of drug tests.
Yeah. I tried the blueberry and diet pills, and this is what happened.
Yeah, I went with Count Chocula. I'm trying to look more youthful.
Shaylee's definitely tampering with his hair sample.
Absolutely.
Well, just so you know, I did a lot of research on it after that. Since your hair is always growing, that like anything back, if you shaved your hair down to like this on the side, they'll just take this.
Yeah.
Unless you shave it with a razor, and then they'll go, "Oh, we'll just take part of your eyebrow."
Right.
It's
the root.
The longer your hair, the longer it's like a tree. That's like parties about 4 years ago up here.
Oh yeah.
And then last night is right here close to your skull.
Yeah. So I learned that part, and then I braced for the call. and it never came. And that's why I'm like, yeah, these things, who knows what the fuck we.
So I'm going to go ahead and put a little mental note, maybe grab some kid's hair from a barber shop, put it in a bag just in case I apply for some sort of work sometime.
Oh, yeah, I already got it. I already cut it off.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Go. Hey, did you bring any hair from your last haircut?
Go in there. It's not like a piss test where they're like, go in that room and cut off some of your hair and put it in this bag and bring it back out to us.
Oh, shit.
Oh, the best way I've found is for getting job and stuff, I have needed clean piss. And if you can get actual clean piss, not like Erickson clean piss, I had my cousin piss into an unlubricated rubber. Then just knot it off at the end. And then whenever I went to go in, you just take it and put it up underneath your nutsack, up underneath your taint, and fucking hold it all in there. That way, even if they have the little measuring thing on the side telling you how the temperature is, it's going to register.
That's the thing, is the temperature is what will queer it out, because if it's outside of your body, even like under your nutsack, man, it's
I think what would queer it out is a leak in the bag and your cousin's piss dripping in your asshole. I
had a lot more faith in condoms back then. I probably do now. It was unwarranted in a lot of fucking ways.
That's funny. We were all young and naive once, you know.
I dehydrated urine in a kit I had to do pass a life insurance thing, and this lady came to my house, and I'm like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to fucking go through that. So I got $70 or so to get dehydrated piss just to pass this thing, and it worked because the lady remarked at how nice my urine looked when I gave it to her, and I thought I thought later about maybe she wanted to fuck me, but
wait, did you just bring out like a bag of powder and you just handed it to her and said, all right, you just have to add water to my piss?
Here, you have the water.
Yeah, I haven't really been hydrating for a while. You should see my cum, lady. And no, I mixed it proper, and it had a little thermometer on the side, and it tells you when you get to that temperature without your cousin's piss up your ass. Anywho's, I ain't gonna
free, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have a clean cousin.
the ex-girlfriend of mine who faked a pregnancy by getting another stripper's urine, who was pregnant. They put her in a bathroom and they pull a curtain, and so it didn't matter because they never took the temperature of the urine. So it's like, well, no, I was in there with her. It's like, you were? And I didn't know. And then I found out later, the boyfriend told me this all went down. And that's how they don't do that anymore. Or word to the wise, get a temperature or have someone go, sorry, you know what? You got to pee in front of me. Or
sounds like there's a little Shaley somewhere.
No, it was totally she totally faked it.
If I was a chick, I would say I was pregnant all the time and get abortion money. Just go, I'll take care of it, but you're paying for it. And just all the time, I'd be like, how many abortions you had, dude? Like 19 or 20.
You've fallen for that before too, huh?
Yeah. That old scam.
She ended up going to a concert in Seattle, Marcy Playground, with the money I gave her, but not without like calling me a fucking asshole and all this shit. And the whole thing was fake. The entire thing was fake.
Well, Marcy, can you imagine hearing I smell sex and candy and thinking I need to run some sort of scam in order to afford a ticket to this show? What can I do? This is the greatest song I've ever heard, and I can't miss this show. Marcy fucking Playground.
I think that's
throwaway.
Of course she was a stripper. Of course she was.
I drank Epicac syrup to get sick in front of my boss. I basically threw up on him, and that was to go to a Bryan Adams concert. I don't even know what summer that was, but it wasn't.
Wait, before or after the Robin Hood?
69, right? It's the summer of 69.
Well, I did need a chick there. Yeah, sort of. I mean, but Epicac syrup, if you just need a break from your job, you can tell them you're sick or call in sick, but it's cool to throw up on them on Friday, and then they give you, you can call in on Monday and say, I'm still carrying that bug. I can come, you get them hands cleaned.
Wait,
Yeah.
what is epic? I mean,
It's
do you have to eat something first? Because wouldn't the Epicat come up, and is there a smell to it or something?
Up to you. I mean, I had macaroni and cheese.
Oh, soft in, soft out. I got it.
My told me to get back on the line. It was a green chain, and it was a strenuous job, and I was halfway decent at it. But I told him, man, I can't do this. I don't feel very good. And he goes, you haven't been hydrating. You need to get. Oh, can I go drink? No, not till the fucking break. But then you go, and then and then it's just perfect timing. It's like I drank it just minutes before, and I'm like, and then he thought I was fucking around, and then and it went splashed on the ground on his boots, up in his pants. Because God damn it, go drink some water and go on home. I thought, oh, yeah. Cuts like a knife.
Oh shit.
Hey guys, I got to get out of here because we got this show tonight. I want to tell you that every night people are coming up and mentioning this podcast, Issues with Andy.
Yeah.
So,
Shaylee, the best part is
all of them out. They're not always
real quick. Quick before you go, my favorite part of the whole thing in Austin was Chad and I fucking talking about it, and Chad saying that he was talking to Stanhope about something and telling him something that happened, and Doug's like, all right, that's fucking hilarious, save it for the podcast. And Chad going, oh dude, I think I might have already told that on my other podcast.
Oh. I hope we don't get into a custody battle.
Well, yeah, I'm supposed to be editing the one that was supposed to go out last night right now.
Oh yeah.
So I'm bracing for it on the way to the gig. But I do want to say we got 2 more. We got 12 shows left, and we've got, by the time this coming out on Friday, Erickson.
Yeah. Friday morning.
Yeah,
Friday.
All right. So Saturday we're in West Columbia. Sunday Raleigh, North Carolina. Tuesday Chattanooga. Wednesday Nashville, and Thursday we'll be in Huntsville, Alabama. Just go to DougStanhope.com to check it out. All those dates. There are tickets available to some of them, and if you can't get them through the website, always call the venue.
Thank you, and thanks for sending us Kristen Becker. She did fucking great. It was great to see her, and give our love to sweet little Carlos Valencia, our favorite Colombian.
Yes.
And
all right, guys.
I'll be in. I'll see you, Greg.
I'm leaving. You guys keep doing your.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up, but
I was ramping into my plugs.
All right. See you guys later, man.
See you, man. Take care.
All right. Peace out, brother. He's doing a Vulcan thing. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Houston tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah, tomorrow night. Or wait, no, fuck that. I won't be there. Yeah, this Friday tonight. If you're hearing this tonight, that night I will be at the Velveeta Room, and the next night I'm in San Antonio.
I'm excited for your Velveeta Room show. That'll be a lot of fun. That's the venue in Austin that, aside from, of course, Kick Butt Coffee, that's been kind to me at 2 different times now. Velveeta Room is great. So you're gonna have fun. You're doing that with Jay, right? Jay Whitecotton.
Yeah, Jay Whitecotton and Joe Stumblebum.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'll make sure I get some snacks and put them in my bag for the green room.
Set a trap.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Like I didn't get them raccoons in. Same thing. Bait it with beer. Joe will go in there to get the beer, and then, sorry, Joe, snacks are gone. You're going to Costco, and you're gonna do a little running.
Shit. So, Chad, I cannot imagine the one thing Carrie and I were laughing about when we got back after fucking bombing out of Austin in an absolute blackout. Because we flew out at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, and we were just Adderall to the gills and fucking vodka drunk. Was the only thing we were happy about is we were back in our beds at fucking 9 a.m. on Sunday morning and thinking, Jesus Christ, Mamu and Chad and Jenny have to drive from fucking Austin to Bisbee. Holy shit. As bad as that drive out must have been, the drive back must have been fucking absolute terror.
I'm glad that all of a sudden I realized that I should quit drinking at about 2:30, and then just fucking ordered an Uber. I was so drunk I forgot I ordered an Uber. I didn't tell anybody goodbye because I realized, oh, what the fuck, who's calling me? And I was like, oh, it's the Uber driver waiting for us.
Oh
So
my
we
God,
just
that's
fucking
funny.
ran.
Yeah,
Good.
Back to our.
I made the calculated risk to drunk drive across the parking lot, parked by the dumpster, parked really tight to the dumpster so nobody could fuck with me on that side. And then I woke up and like I couldn't, trying to get out of the car, slammed my door in the dumpster, of course, and then crawled out the other side, fell on the ground, and then there's a homeless guy and he's getting up and he's looking like he had a better night's rest than I did. And I was like, fuck, what a fucking miserable shit. I gotta fucking get control of this fucking, And then I was like, wait, I know where I am. And I walked around the corner. The coffee place was open and they had breakfast tacos going. And I was like, man, I just cannot stay down. And then I thought of Shank and his long drive. And oh, fuck, man. My knees hurt. My back hurts. But his knees, I mean, I don't have 12 hours in a car. So God bless you.
Boys.
We did it again. We did it again. We created our own fun drama.
I hope to do it many more times with you guys because I fucking have a blast, man. Cheers, you
that
guys.
was fun, and I'd like to also give a shout out to Ray Porter and Shauna Christmas, who were both on our show.
Ray Porter.
Both of them were fantastic, but without a slight to Shauna, Ray Porter was just a fucking sweetheart. I thought it was great, Andy. You met Ray and we were like, all right, this may be. And then after you saw his set, you're like, yep, we have ourselves our new Sean Rouse. So
we pick out his outfits. If he signs up, we pick out his outfits and we dye his hair blonde.
I got to hang out with Ray quite a bit too and bullshit, and he's fucking.
He had
dude, man.
Very funny kid from Arkansas, with just enough cerebral palsy to be charming. You know what I mean?
You may not want to push. You may not want to push it, Ray. But right now, you got just enough CP in your cup to be interesting. Too much CP, people may not want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm thinking about alcohol.
Yeah, we don't want to push you around. We don't want a Chris Fonseca level cerebral palsy. Thinking more of a Davey Wester level.
Right, and you're gonna have to tell people it's just arthritis.
That's fine. We can do that. So he was great. Shauna Christmas was great. So go find both of those people.
And Kristen Becker and Mambu for guesting on our podcast.
They were great. Also, my very good friend who you guys met, Whitney Chitwood, from Chicago, fucking just destroyed on Saturday night, man. I remember when she was doing like open mics in Peoria. I was like, oh, this girl's okay, I guess. And now she's just fucking dominating Chicago. So fucking get on that board of that train too while it's still fucking leaving the station, because she is fantastic. And let's see, I don't know if I have anything worthy of plugging. I have shows in Los Angeles over the next couple of weeks, and I have a roast battle on October 22nd against current Los Angeles roast battle champion Alex Duong.
Oh man.
For the title. It's a title shot.
Holy cow.
So that'll be fun. And you can come to Los Angeles.
If you print up some silk ropes, we'll be in your corner. Me and Chad will be your. I can't make it.
Man. I definitely need a cut, man.
Well, I'm a cutter. I just repress it. I'm not an active cutter, but I can. I know the drill.
I'd hate to be in my corner on my stool with fucking Chad fucking, dolloping off the sweat off my brow, and then Andy coming in. I'm like, where's that blood coming from? And then you just smile at me like, oh no.
Don't look up.
Peeing on his finger.
Well, Lance Armstrong isn't that basically what Lance Armstrong did? Like you're trying to think of something in your brain, and then a little blood of mine from my asshole leaks in, and then gives you that extra oxygen.
Yeah, I think that's blood doping. I think that's exactly what Lance Armstrong was doing.
Well, they had a cleaner source, I'm sure. you know.
It gives you the strength of 2 comedians. I mean, just think of it. Comedy steroid.
The kind of doping I'm talking about, you can do on a Huffy bike.
Well, Huffy for sure. Also, if you go on Twitch, use your Amazon Prime subscription to sign up and subscribe to Chad Shank's Twitch channel, correct?
Yeah, I got links to it. The easiest way, so I don't have to do a bunch of fucking links, is just to go to on my Twitter at HDFatty, and it's all there in the bio and in the fucking pin tweet. Tells you how to do it, and I'd appreciate it. My subs went down while I was away having fun, so.
Yeah, we got to get those subscriptions back up. Andy will be doing a comedy special in parts unknown Southwest America in sometime in the middle of October. So if you'd like to help him do that, you can contribute.
I think that has to do with the money.
Have.
I don't know if them camera guys are gonna film if they show up and they're fucking, you know, hey, I got some good news and bad news. The good news is we're all here. So yeah, I'm hoping to be taping in a few weeks.
All right, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you for your time. We love all of you out there. Thanks for following. Do all that stuff you're supposed to do. Subscribe, rate the show. Leave us a comment if you have any questions you want us, whatever. Hit us up. Issues with Andy. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
See you guys.
Bye.